Welcome to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success. I'm also excited to share my book, Straight from the Admissions Office, a review of my biggest takeaways from the first few hundred podcast episodes. It's packed with direct insights from admissions professionals and practical tips to help students and their families navigate the college admissions process. You can find all of the information in the show notes. Welcome to The Cap, where we are here to speak with college reps and other professionals in the field of college admissions to help answer all your questions and guide you through every step of the process. So if you're serious about college admissions, you've come to the right place. Are you ready? Let's talk about it. And now, here's your host, Dr. John Durante. Welcome to The Cap, the College Admissions Process Podcast. I am your host, John Durante, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, Grace, from New York, as part of our series where we're interviewing students that completed at least 1 year of college. Grace, I can't thank you enough for being here today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It is my honor and pleasure. So let's start with a quick introduction, Grace. Where are you from? Which high school did you attend? Where are you currently enrolled in terms of college? And what year are you entering in college?
So I am from Long Island. I attended Oyster Bay High School in Nassau County. I am attending Grove City College in Western Pennsylvania, and I graduated high school in 2024, so I entered in 2024.
Fantastic. So elaborate a little bit more about what Grove City is all about. What is your major for listeners that might not be familiar?
So Grove City College, again, is out in Western Pennsylvania, 45 minutes north from Pittsburgh. It is a Christian conservative college, very small college, around 600 students per grade. And yeah, I am a music education major, which is a small major at that college as well. There's only 7 people within that major in my entire grade, freshman year. And yeah, it's just an amazing school.
Terrific. Well, thank you for that overview, Grace. And looking back at your own high school experience, when did you begin seriously thinking about the college search process?
So I started thinking about it in my freshman year of high school. I always wanted to be a music teacher. That was something that I knew since I was very young. So I always tried to look at different schools that had really good music programs. And from my freshman year, seeing other kids graduate, it made me really excited. So I just wanted to start looking right away.
That's awesome. And did you work with a private counselor or did you just work with your school counselors at Oyster Bay High School?
So I kind of ran solo a little bit. We didn't really work with our counselors from my high school until the end of junior year. And that's when they just kind of said to us, pick a couple of colleges that you might be interested in, and then make a list and then kind of figure it out on your own. So I was very lucky. My mom helped me a lot with finding different schools, and we narrowed it down to like around 3 schools, and we did tours, and that was kind of my search process.
Well, that's awesome. And I know you talked a little bit about Grove City and the fact that you started in freshman year and you knew you wanted to be a music teacher right from the get-go. But what were the most important factors to you, Grace, when choosing where to apply, such as the size of the college itself? Perhaps you were looking at location, campus vibe, majors, which we touched upon, or was there anything else?
So what I really wanted in college was a small campus. Oyster Bay High School is very, very small, around 100 kids per grade, and it's a 7th through 12th grade building. So you're there for a very long time and you get to know everybody, and there's just an amazing community there. So I really wanted that when transferring into college. Personally, I don't think I could transfer into a humongous school on a city because I would be way too overwhelmed. And Grove City was the perfect fit because it values community so much and building through faith, which I found really important. And it also just had an amazing music program, and it had a 100% um, job right after college, which I loved and I found that really important. And I think just the community was what I was looking for 100%, and how small the school was, because I really wanted a small school where everybody kind of knew everybody.
Well, that's great. And you mentioned earlier that you broke it down to about three schools, which we're going to come back to in a second. But I was curious, how many schools did you actually visit throughout your process? And how did those visits influence your final decision and the overall list of colleges that you applied to?
I think visiting schools is one of the most important things and most necessary things that you should do before choosing where you want to go. So, when I said that I started looking my freshman year of high school, I was in love with SUNY Fredonia. I really wanted to go there. They had an amazing music program. I wanted to be part of the cheerleading team there because I did cheerleading all throughout high school. And me, my mom, my twin sister, who was also looking at schools, and my dad, during our junior year spring break, we decided to do multiple different college tours, all different schools, even schools that we weren't looking at, just to get a sense of different campuses. So when we were heading up to different schools, we visited Lafayette College and Pittsburgh and Fredonia, and I found out that I hated Fredonia. Nothing to do with the school itself. Well, I just didn't feel like I fit in there. So I think visiting schools is one of the most important things that you can do, because if I didn't see the school, I would most likely have gone there and most likely wanted to transfer out after a year. It had an amazing music program, but there just wasn't my people.
Yeah, I
So yeah.
appreciate that. So, could you elaborate a little bit on Fredonia? Was it the campus? Was it the surrounding environment? What was it about Fredonia that after you did that visit, you realized, this is really not the right fit for me?
So their music program is very advanced, and I think that's amazing. However, it's very blocked off from the rest of campus for the most part. If
Hmm.
you're a music major, you're kind of just sucked into that world and that community, and you can't really do anything else. Um, while even though there was cheerleading there, and I really wanted to be a part of the cheerleading team there, I actually got recruited for the cheerleading team there. But it was just way too much music for me, and I wanna be a music teacher, I love music, but that can't be my entire life. Well, when I went and visited Grove City right after, I realized that there can be a merge between athletics, music, anything that you would wanna do, clubs, and everything just fit very well together, which I really, really liked.
Yeah, so it looks like you were looking for a more interdisciplinary approach. You wanted to do the music, but also engage with other academics and, frankly, the overall school climate and culture. So we appreciate that. And what were your top three schools ultimately, Grace? And were you accepted to all of them?
So, my top 3 schools, I really only had one on the list. After visiting Grove City, I knew that was the one that I wanted to go to, so I did early decision to that. And I did 2 backup schools, Fredonia University as a backup and SUNY Potsdam. I got into both of those, but I first got into Grove City, and I knew right when I got in that that was where I was going.
Well, that's terrific. And now that you've completed that first year of college, what surprised you most once you actually got to campus, right? You learned so much about Fredonia by doing the visit. But speaking about Grove City, now that you've been there for a year, what were the surprises, things that you didn't realize that you could only experience after being on campus for a year?
So, being a part of a Christian community is amazing because we all come together through our faith. However, being from New York, it's very uncommon to see people getting married at such a young age. Out in very rural Pennsylvania, people get married very young. So, the ring before spring saying is very common there and very true, which scares a lot of the freshmen coming in. They even tell you to look to your left and look to your right because your future spouse might be in sight, and
Wow.
everyone freaks out. Um, and I just had to realize that it's normal for some people, especially out in Western Pennsylvania. Personally, I wouldn't get married that young. However, it was just a very big shock to me, and it also is just very common on Christian campuses.
Understood. Well, again, we appreciate that insight. And if you could go back and redo the college search, what's something you would have done differently or considered more carefully? Now that, again, you're at college, you just finished your first year and you're reflecting back, what could you share in terms of that?
I would talk to more of my friends and see what type of schools that they were looking at as well. Um, just because you can get a lot of ideas from your friends at school. Um, I was kind of very heart set on Grove City right when I saw it. And what I really wanted was that feeling of I'm meant to be here. So I wish I would have talked to more students in high school about what they were going through, and what schools they were looking at to also get more ideas of different schools that I would want to visit.
Well, it's interesting that you're talking about more students in schools. So, Grace, if a student came to you now specifically about Grove City, what advice would you give that student who might be considering your school?
I would tell them to definitely visit the campus. That it was a big part of my decision. When I visited it, it was pouring rain, but still beautiful. I would also say try to visit while classes are still going on so you're able to see the amazing community that is there. We also have chapel every Wednesday and Friday, and the tour groups sometimes are allowed to go in and watch our chapel services, which is really nice. And you can just get a whole sense of the community, the amazing community that is at Grove City College.
Yeah, and clearly you are so happy with your community. It just comes through. And in terms of the visit, which is something that we're talking a lot about here during this conversation, we always give the advice if you can't visit for whatever reason before you apply to your school, students, you absolutely owe it to yourself to visit before matriculating because you can never replicate the feeling that you get when you're on the campus, but even looking at the surrounding area off campus. Would you agree with that, Grace?
Yes, yes. That was 100% a really big reason why I chose Grove City College.
Fantastic. And what's something you wish someone had told you during your college search that you now understand a lot better having gone through it yourself?
I wish they told me that you're not going to get that feeling of that you belong at every school. I kind of knew that going in, but especially having my heart set on Fredonia when I visited there and didn't have that feeling and didn't have that feeling at any of the other schools I visited so far, it just broke me a little bit because I was like, where am I going to go then? Everyone talks about having this feeling that once they step onto campus that they belong there and that they should go there, but I wasn't having this feeling. So I wish somebody were to tell me that it takes time and you don't 100% have to have that feeling to know where you want to go.
Yeah, that's such great advice. You're definitely not going to get that feeling for every college that you visit. And we always talk about the fact that there's over 4,000 colleges and universities in the United States alone. There are many schools that are the right fit for each and every student, but not every school is the right fit for you. So if you're hearing about a friend who's applying to a certain school, and perhaps it's a school on that top 25 list, whatever that top thing means, and you visit and you don't like it, that's completely normal. You know, one of the representatives that I had on, he made a great comment. He said, anybody that would apply to a school like Dartmouth and UPenn, they don't know what they're doing because those two schools could not be more different, right? And so sometimes we're looking for the sticker that we're going to put on the back of the car. We're just looking at the top 25%, which is wrong. I think to your point, it's very important to visit again before applying. If you can't before you applying, definitely before you matriculate, because that's when you'll be able to determine the right fit. And clearly, you thought Fredonia was going to be your school. You visited, and it wasn't the case, but you found the home in Grove City, which is terrific. Now, I always like to ask Grace, is there a question that I didn't ask yet that you wish I had? Or is there a topic about the college process, your own research, your own journey that didn't come up in the conversation that you'd like to share with our listeners now?
I don't think so. But another thing that I was thinking about when you were talking before about the top 25 schools. I would say a lot of the kids that I went to high school with applied based off of name only, which Grove City, no one ever hears about Grove City. A lot of people, when they first hear about it, they're like, where is that? What is that? Differently than when you hear Penn State or University of Pittsburgh or NYU, that those schools immediately pop into your head. So definitely keep looking through schools that you haven't heard of before, because that is also very important.
Well, I think that's great advice. And this whole conversation has been tremendous. Unfortunately, Grace, it does bring us to the last question, which is what's your biggest piece of advice for high school students and their families just beginning their college journey?
Take your time, don't rush into it. It's a very exciting process to go through and very nerve-wracking as well, especially when you're waiting for those acceptance or letters or just letters to come in. Um, if you take your time with it and just enjoy the process, I think that is the best way to do it. Start early. I started my college essay and working with someone junior year, right after junior year, going into senior year, that June. And I had my college essay done in August. Um, so I think that relieved a lot of stress, especially when colleges start opening up their portals really early, sometimes in September or August. So I think getting a rough draft or getting started on that essay pretty early on will really help you relieve the stress coming into your senior year of high school. I would also say try to come up with at least like 5 schools that you want to apply to early on, so then you can visit them, going into your senior year or maybe your junior year as well. I had those 3 schools, and then it just narrowed it down to 1 pretty easy for me.
Well, that's
So
awesome. And that's why you applied early decision, which, of course, is the best way to demonstrate your interest by saying, hey, I'm applying ED. If you accept me, I'm going to come in. But I also love this conversation because it showed how reflective you were through your process, but even now, right after finishing your first year of college. And I really appreciate you talking about not just looking at the rankings, right? Again, there's over 4,000 colleges and universities. There's more than one school for you, but it doesn't have to be that list of 25. And you're right, Grove City is not a school that students typically know about. But what I really appreciate is how much you love it, how much you found a community, and you really love that culture and that family feel. So this has been phenomenal, Grace. I can't thank you enough. We really appreciate you being here and sharing all your wisdom.
thank you so much.
Our pleasure. And to everyone out there, good luck with the college search. Take care all, and best wishes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The CAP, the College Admissions Process Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please don't forget to tell a friend and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. I am your host, John Durante, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The CAP. Thank you for listening to the College Admissions Process Podcast presented by Prep Expert. Prep Expert offers live online SAT and ACT courses with the best score guarantees, instructors, and curriculum. Go to prepexpert.com to guarantee your child's success.